guys, we're going to talk about a major red flag that you need to watch out for in a potential partner and how to find out about it sooner than later. So I was having a conversation with someone on one of my videos about daddy issues, basically. And so if a woman has unresolved negative feelings toward her father because of her experience with him in her childhood or throughout her life, then that is going to show up in her relationship. And same thing with men having mommy issues. So basically, when we are attracted to someone, we tend to be unconsciously and subconsciously attracted to what's familiar. And what's familiar is what we learned from being loved, or in some cases not loved very well, in childhood. And that's typically from our primary caregivers, and often that's with our parents. So if we've had a crappy childhood, or if we've had misgivings with one or both of our parents, we'll tend to have that come back into our adult relationships. And this is most profoundly felt in intimate relationships, particularly if it's a guy who is with a woman, because obviously it's the opposite sex issue. So if he had an issue with his dad, it's not going to show up as much in his relationship with a woman because there's a different dynamic. And same thing the other way around. If a woman has had a bad experience or negative feelings towards her dad, even if she thinks they're resolved now, if she hasn't actually truly resolved them, then it's going to show up in her adult relationships with men. And particularly when you are in an intimate relationship, because that's when we feel vulnerable and we tend to want to work through our issues. And it's not even so much that we want to, but it just comes up because that's where we feel vulnerable, just like we did as children. We felt vulnerable with our parents, and they were major influencers in our lives. But as adults, once we know this, we have a responsibility to ourselves and others to start dealing with this, which is a whole other video. But the thing that you can do when you're dating or courting someone and you want to know whether or not there are unresolved issues with one or both of their parents, all you have to do is actually ask them about their relationship with that particular parent of the opposite sex. And you can gauge pretty quickly based on their reply, their tone of voice, their body language, whether or not they have actually dealt with it and what kind of relationship they do have with their parents, or if it's a woman with her dad, if it's a man with his mother. And even though a woman may say she's dealt with all her stuff, if her body language, tone of voice, or words are incongruent with that, then it is a red flag, and she may not even be aware that she's got stuff to deal with that. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to run away, but it is something to take note of that is going to come up in your relationship. It's going to come up, and to what degree it comes up will somewhat be determined by how strong her reaction is to that question. And there's another thing I was going to say about this. Also, keeping in mind that we all have childhood baggage. The other thing is whether or not the parents are still together. So if someone's parents are still together now, then they were probably, and happy, key point there is being happy. If their parents are together and happy, then they probably have been shown and learned from a positive relationship. If parents have been split up, or there was a lot of negativity in a divorce, or they're together but they hate each other, then there's going to be some issues there as well. And like I said, it's not something that you need to necessarily run from, depending on the degree to the, what's a good word? Fucked upness? Yeah, we're going to go with that. So depending on what level of fucked upness your potential partner is at, does it match with your personal level of fucked upness? Because essentially we are attracted to our emotional equal. So it may be that you need to work through some stuff by going through a relationship with someone who's on the same level as you in terms of where they're at with having resolved their childhood stuff. And we all have childhood stuff. So, if you want to stay single forever, then try to find someone who doesn't have childhood stuff or life stuff. It's probably not going to happen. And even if you do find someone like that, they are probably a Zen monk and don't really care if they're in a relationship or not. So, and that might be you, but I doubt it if you're watching this. Yeah, because we're all fucked up in this. Anyway, hope this helped. And yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell if you want to be notified of new videos that I post. And if you feel this video would help anyone, either share it or maybe pass it along in an email if you want to know kind of how to get through a lot of this stuff. Then check out my Wake Up to Love program. I'll put a link below. If you want some personal coaching, check out my link below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here, and you are okay. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You are gonna make it. Yeah. Okay, bye.